Good morning, Year 10, and welcome to your final lesson, Lesson 13 on A Christmas Carol. The end of it, very aptly named in your copy of the novella, and our lesson focus here with the interrogative, what becomes of Scrooge? Now, of course, you know, we've spoken about this idea of change, metamorphosis, growth and rebirth from day one. So, apologies, essentially, the images that we have on screen here are not going to come as a surprise to you, but we do need to discuss what exactly has been redeemed and what exactly has altered and shifted in Scrooge's perspective on the world, and indeed what a contemporary Victorian reader can too take away from this novella, as well as us, modern readers, who of course can learn from the didactic sentiments of this novella. So here we go. Grab a pen, grab some paper, your exercise book, get ready to make some notes. Here are some key moments at the end, and well, to be honest, throughout, I've actually chosen throughout stave 5, which is the shortest stave. And we can maybe discuss that just very briefly. Why is it the shortest stave? Well, I suppose it could be that the message by the end is so clear and so powerful that it doesn't need digression, it doesn't need excessive detail, it just needs the powerful tableau of Scrooge being the changed, altered, reborn protagonist. Of course we would call him a antagonist at the start, but he is now our protagonist, who is seen sobbing violently, his face wet with tears, as he realises that he has this opportunity to make the most of his life. Okay, like a baby, he is a blank slate, he believes, reborn. So, I have chosen here just a couple of key quotes. I do want you to pop them down and maybe leave a space above and below just to very quickly indeed jot down some of the ideas that I will articulate verbally to you. So, the first one is just a perfect quote to sum up the cyclical nature of this narrative. If you remember, we had some derogatory similes at the start of stave 1 that described Scrooge as hard and sharp, as flint, as solitary as an oyster. And those similes are now in direct contrast to those that we have here at the start of stage 5. I am as light as a feather, I am as happy as an angel, I am as merry as a schoolboy, as giddy as a drunken man. Now, the one thing we can say is, of course, in place of derogatory imagery, hard and sharp as flint, solitary as an oyster, we have imagery here that is far more positive. Okay, in fact, to be honest, excessively hyperbolically positive. Being described as light as a feather, he doesn't mean that he has miraculously shed pounds overnight. He means, of course, in the figurative sense, that he has shed the weight of his past, the trauma of his past, and is ready to embrace the light and bright spirit of the present moment. Okay, so that is more of a figurative sense. Happy as an angel, the noun angel is no mistake, of course. We have that religious imagery. An angel is, of course, working in cahoots with God to spread sort of love, care, support, in the biblical sense, the guardian angel there to protect and serve. So if he is as happy as an angel, he is now ready to protect and serve his wider community, and will be content in that sort of guardianship, quasi-parental role. Now, if he's happy as a schoolboy, of course, a schoolboy here is used to, again figuratively, suggest that he is brand new, he is reborn, he is open and receptive to new ideas and teaching. And then I really like the last one is giddy as a drunken man. It just means that he's not taking himself so seriously anymore. That he is open to frivolity, to play, to the creative imagination. All of those aspects that the Romantic poets and Dickens too really champion for a better society. So just love this succession of similes in direct contrast to the beginning of the narrative, showing how far we've come and the extent of his transformation. And then we have this moment where we have a reference to the great bellowing laugh that Scrooge indulges in. So it says here, really, for a man who had been out of practice for so many years, it was a splendid laugh, a most illustrious laugh. So again, illustrious, the adjective suggesting the great quality, quantity, generosity of that laugh. When you laugh, and I'm sure you know this, your body sort of releases those kind of positive endorphins, those positive feelings that circulate through the body and actually have a really positive impact on your mental health, but also your physical well-being. There are actually workshops, and people might call them, hippy dippy or whatever, far out. But I feel they have such value. I've never been to one myself, but in such workshops and laughing workshops, people just make one another laugh and they just laugh freely. And exercising that organ, that metaphorical organ, is such a release of positive energy. And the fact that he's able to release this now in a splendid laugh shows that he is open to being vulnerable, that he is open to embracing good humour. I mean, think about what he was at the start of the novella. Bah, humbug! I can't afford to make idle people merry. He was sharp and scathing, rejected community on a grand scale, and here he is, engaging in what can only be described as the epitome of joy, the laugh. And then again we have this third genius moment from Dickens. If you remember at the start of the novella, we have that thick fog. Okay, many of you saw that the fog could be a metaphor at the start of the novella for the great plight of poverty and also of the industrial era that took over everyone's lives in inner London. Now here we have the negation of that setting. No fog, no mist. What do we have instead? Clear, bright, jovial, golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet, fresh air, merry bells. So this is a very packed description, using pathetic fallacy here with the weather mirrors the emotions of the protagonist. So we have this dispelling of the fog. What does that mean? It means we have clarity. Finally, for Scrooge, he can see the value of life. He can see the sun, the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, and you can hear those bells, those celebratory bells that really complement the visuals of this scene. Now, Scrooge is described physically as well as, wait for it, glowing. Okay, now where have we seen that before? Hopefully you're all thinking Fred. Okay, he was all in a glow. And so here, Scrooge is borrowing, or at least the limited omniscient narrative perspective is, a previous adjective that was attributed to the embodiments of Christmas spirit. So again, it is absolutely no mistake that he was so fluttered and so glowing with good intentions that his broken voice would scarcely answer to his call. So again, the idea that he is, not used to articulating such joy, and so the broken voice is almost like he's been out of practice, he hasn't used it for so long, that it falters here in this moment. And of course, when he interacts with the young boy from his window, the chuckle with which he said this, and the chuckle, and it goes on, right? So the repetition of that verb chuckle, of course, to laugh. It's a real carefree verb, isn't it? It's not just laugh, it's chuckle. There's a real, almost childlike simplicity and joy just to that verb in itself. So he is now enthusiastically engaging, not just with the wider community, but with the poor, with the lower social class. The boy from his window is surprised by the money that he offers. He's probably never seen that amount before. And of course with children, something he has lost touch with completely. And then, he offers the charitable donation once again back to the gentleman in stave 1, and he says that they can expect a great many back payments, in the donation that he gives, and he assures them on that. So we have this real extreme gesture of benevolence and charity, aspects that he had long rejected and marginalised in favour of business. So, in summary then, everything I've just explained, I spoke about the comparisons, the links Dickens makes to stave 1. What I've put at the top there is real important, so you are going to want to write that down. What is Dickens doing then with all of these references? You can see 1 to 8 here, things we've seen before throughout the narrative, quite a lot at the start of stave 1. Well, he is using a cyclical structure where we have that sort of, we start here, we make journey, we return here, to underscore the completeness, I think, of his transformation. Think of the circle. We start here, we journey, we end here, we have that complete circle. Not that he's returned to the same persona, but he returns to the same people, the same settings, and almost remedies the ills that he did there. So those early encounters, the people, the things, the places, he returns to and remedies the mistakes he previously made. So he does return, it is cyclical, but he does not return to the same persona. Rebirth, metamorphosis, change, growth. It's all here at the end of stave 5. Now, you might want to pause this just for a second. If you wanted to write down those 8 people, places and things that Scrooge returns to demonstrate this grade 9 element of the cyclical narrative structure. Then, so I want to leave you on this. It has been, I know, tricky to study this at home, but hopefully by the end of today you will have your copy of the novella. I would love for you to read back over it over the summer, or whenever you feel like it, really, before September, and just go back over and see what you can remember from your studies. Use your highlighter, your pen, and annotate your key moments. In my copy of the novella, which I have with me here, just at the end of stave 5, where the narrative concludes at the age of page 126, I have actually written down what's in red here. I've written we have a cyclical narrative down, and I've also put that I feel Dickens's didactic message is totally unavoidable by the close of the novella. And what is it? Now, you might sum this up in a different way, but for me, to sum up the didactic sway and message of the novella, it's here. It reminds us that we are part of a community, and if we become disconnected from it, as Scrooge does, we become lesser people. Now, this may well sound awfully familiar, because in fact I could even sum up an Inspector Calls with the self-same didactic message as is penned here in red. So this is probably our thinking, really, in studying and choosing to study A Christmas Carol and An Inspector Calls for your literature GCSE, is because there are quite a few crossovers in their moral centres. So I really hope this video has proved useful in tying up any loose ends, in really helping you to see the great importance and skill of the end of the novella and what it teaches us. I hope you're all well and that you really benefited from Monday's face-to-face lesson at school. Again, I'm so sorry I cannot be there due to my health issues. You know I would love to. So I'm really hoping you made the best of it and enjoyed my hello video just to see my face. But again, if you need anything, email me, let me know. I'm always here for you. Okay, don't ignore the work, don't ignore what needs to be done, just let me know where you are, check in with me. Okay, that's all I want. Okay, have a great day, Year 10.